Hello wizards, welcome back to my channel. Students, today in this video I shall finish the chapter tissues as I am going to explain various types of animal tissues. In my previous video we have gone through the introduction of the topic animal tissue as well as I differentiated the types of epithelial tissue and the different types of cells under it. So, in my video today, we shall study the muscular tissue and its types, that is, the striated muscles, the non-striated muscles, and the cardiac muscles. Next is the connective tissues and its types or different types of tissues involved in it. And finally, we shall go through the nervous tissue. Students, the different types of tissues and their types were explained in the chart in my previous video. So those who have not gone through my previous video, for them I have mentioned the link in the description box. So please have a watch on that. So without wasting the time, let's start whatever we want to complete today. First of all, let us start talking for explanation of the topic muscular tissue. Muscular tissues are the tissues which help our body in movement. The muscles are present in different parts of our body which are generally attached to the bones or may be free or may be attached to some other parts to support the body structure as well as movement. They are generally long, fiber-like cells called the muscle fibers. They are capable of contraction and relaxation, and due to these activities we are able to catch, walk, hold or throw something. Students, muscular tissues are of three types depending on the structure or depending on the cell types. The first type is the striated muscle. The striated muscles are also known as voluntary muscles because these are under the control of one's will. That means if we wish to do something or we want to do some work, then we are able to move those parts of our body where the muscles are found. Muscle fibers or cells are generally multinucleated, having various nucleus, and they are unbranched. Each fiber is enclosed by thin membrane which is called as sarcolemma. Cytoplasm is called the sarcoplasm. These muscles sometimes, or we can say many times, get tired when we do the work and therefore need rest. The structure under the microscope of the cells present in these muscles comes like a zigzag pattern. That means whenever under microscope we want to study these structures or cells of the muscles, we find that there are zigzag patterns. Why these zigzag patterns are present? About this you will learn in some higher classes, and due to the structure they are called striated. The next type of muscle is the non-striated one, that is the non-striated muscles. They are also called involuntary muscles and smooth muscles because of their structure. In the previous type, as I have mentioned, there are zigzag patterns as shown in the or as seen under the microscope. But these structures, that is the non-striated muscles, do not show this type of zigzag patterns and therefore are called smooth muscles. These muscle fibers are uninucleated, that means single nucleus in the cytoplasm of the cell, and spindle shaped. They are not enclosed by membranes, but many fibers are joined together in bundles. Such muscles are found in the walls of stomach, intestine, urinary bladder, bronchi, iris of the eye, and many more places. So we can say that we cannot move this type of muscles according to our wish or will. This peristaltic movement in alimentary canal are brought about by these smooth muscles. The last and the final one is the cardiac muscle. The name cardiac is given to the heart. As we all know, heart consists of a special type of muscle, that is the cardiac muscles, which are generally involuntary in nature. That means they move automatically and keep on moving 24 hours. Only found in the walls of heart. This is the main part of the topic. Their structures is in between the striated and non-striated muscle. They are uninucleated and branched. Branches are united by intercalated disc. In these muscles, rhythmic contraction and relaxation occurs throughout the life of a person or an animal. So this is all about the three types of muscles that are found in our body. Let us now move to another type of tissue present in the animal's body, that is the connective tissue. As the name suggests, connective means to connect. The cells of these tissues are able to connect the body parts in us. The cells are generally mature. They have matrix. White and yellow fibers are present in the matrix. That means this type of tissue have widely spaced and embedded intercellular matrix. Their basic function is to provide support to different organs and keeping them in place. So, these tissues are of many types. The first type that we shall talk about is the blood. The blood is a connective tissue which has a fluid matrix which is known as plasma. We are generally talking about blood plasma when we suffer from a disease, because the plasma of the blood contains many important proteins that are necessary to be studied by the scientists so that we can know about the content of it. The blood helps in transporting various materials such as gases, excretory products, hormones, and many more things. The plasma is a part of the blood that constitute 55% of the total amount of in the blood. It contains 90 to 91% of water and only 7% protein. The protein includes albumin, fibrinogen, and globulin. And many more salts are also present in it. The blood is a fluid which not only contains this fluid matrix, that is the plasma, it also contains three different types of cells. The first one is the RBC, that is the red blood corpuscles, the WBC. The next one is the full form is white blood corpuscles, and the final one is the platelets, or we can call it as blood platelets or thrombocytes. The RBC cells, as we know, are also known as erythrocytes. They are generally red in color because of the presence of a pigment called hemoglobin, which helps in transportation of oxygen in our body. The white blood cells are basically irregular in shape, amoeboid in shape, or phagocytic cells. They are capable of engulfing bacteria or may kill bacteria by releasing some chemical substances. Many types of WBC cells are there, that is monocytes, lymphocytes, basophils, neutrophils, and eosinophils. All these types of WBC cells differ in their size and shape as well as function, which you have to study later on in some higher classes. The final one, which is the blood platelets, are basically spindle shaped and very small in structure. They are responsible for clotting of blood. So students, except blood, some other connective tissues are also present in our body. That is mainly the bones, the cartilages, the areolar tissue, the adipose tissue, and many more. So, bones, as we all know, are hard structures, very hard in nature. They are made up of calcium phosphate as well as some kind of protein. Bone cells, also known as osteoblasts, are embedded in this hard matrix. Matrix is deposited in the form of concentric layers of lamina formed around a central canal. The dome shells occupy small spaces between the concentric layers of matrix. The long bones are usually hollow, containing cavity called as marrow cavity, or we can call it as bone marrow. The bones actually are responsible for providing a shape to our body. The next type of tissue is the cartilage. This tissue is elastic in nature. It is less harder. Its elasticity helps our bones in many ways. It is found just near the joints in nose, ear, trachea, and larynx. It provides flexibility and great tensile strength. So, the next type of connective tissue is the areolar tissue. Areolar tissues are generally filled with some cells. These tissues are generally found between the skin and muscles, around blood vessels, nerves, and in bone marrow. There are some other tissues in the connective tissue part, that is the adipose tissue. These are oval and round cells filled with fat globules. The cells are called as adipocytes. Adipose tissues are actually acts as an insulator and prevent loss of heat from the body. Some other tissues are like bones, from the bones. Some are there which are tendons and ligaments. All these types of connective tissues are responsible for connecting different parts of our body as well as providing strength to the body. The last and the last tissue in our body is the nervous tissue. The nervous tissue are very specialized types of tissues. which are responsible for providing various response to the stimuli that we achieve. Nervous tissues are present everywhere in our body. Nervous tissues are found just beneath the receptor organs, beneath the skin, so that they can collect information surrounding us. The functional unit of the nervous tissues are the neuron. A neuron is a structure, or we can call it a neuron is a cell, which is little bit complicated to see. We can see actually a neuron because of its large size. The cell body of the neuron, as shown in the figure, is containing a dendrite, that is branched type or branch form of the plasma membrane. These dendrites are responsible of collecting the various stimuli or various informations from our surrounding. Students, I want to give an example here. Suppose a student is listening to a teacher. The teacher is explaining something and the sound is achieved by the student through his or her ears. Here, beneath the ear is present the nervous tissue, that is the neurons, that collects the vibration, the chemical signals of the vibration that are produced in the ear. These vibrations are collected and are converted into chemical signals and are carried by these nervous tissues, that is the neurons. The cell body containing the dendrites collect the information and pass it through the axon. The axon is a structure which is slightly tubular in nature. It is cylindrical and it extends up to the nerve ending. The chemicals signals are conducted throughout the body of the cell and it reaches the nerve ending. The nerve ending then supplies these chemical messages to the next dendron of the next neuron. Axon of one neuron is very closely placed to the dendrons of another neuron to carry impulses from one to another neuron in the form of electrochemical waves. Thus, they carry the message in the form of electrochemical signals to the brain or to the spinal cord to work accordingly. So this way, students, it is very crucial thing, or it is very important to study the function of the neuron, which is actually conduction of the message that is in the form of information around us, as because the brain works accordingly so that we can answer to the signal. So students, this is all about the animal tissue, where we completed the different types of tissue, that is the epithelial tissue, the muscular tissue, the connective tissue and the nervous tissue. All these tissues are together form the animal tissue. So students, if there is any query, you can comment me in the comment box, and you can go through the other videos if you want, so that you can cover up the entire chapter. To get my upcoming videos, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. You can also ask me some questions or can clear your doubt by typing in the comment box. That's all for today. Thank you.